Heard you talking with Lou. So you're going to help Dr. Walker?
그러려고 해.
Oh, good, good. Percival's a good guy. Listen, I know how you can do it without having to resort to any B&E. Aqueous hematite. Mars is full of it. People think it's just garbage, but Percival and I
허시
we've been
말고 아는
working on
인물이네요.
some projects in the deep mines.
제
At
젊은데.
least when he wasn't slaving away at his trade authority contract. But we stumbled on a way to make it useful and profitable. You give our research over to Octai at the trade authority, it should more than cover Percival's debt. That guy's always looking for an angle.
그러게 너무 쉬운데? 벌써 넘기지 않은 이유가 있겠지. 그래.
Well, yeah. We were never able to finish the research. Spacers moved in and ran us out. Started setting up shop.
아직 완성되지 않은 연구인가
I
보네요.
believe I see where this is leading.
But if you can clear them out, I can walk you through how to finish the research. Then you can give it over to the trade authority. They'll get folks working in the deep mines again. Jobs come back, I become a modern-day folk hero. Then I don't have to sleep on an inflated spacesuit anymore.
이게 참 묘하네요. 얘기만 들으면 좋은 이야기인데 너무 좋은 이야기라 의심이 많이 가는데. 화성의 일자리가 어떻게 됐는데?
Biggest employer on Mars has always been Deimos Star Yards. After the Colony War, armistice meant they needed a lot fewer warships. Fewer ships meant fewer minerals. That meant a lot of folks scrounging for work around here.
별다른 건 없는데.
Oh, yeah. So access to the deep mines can be found outside the city. It's not far. Shouldn't even need to hop back in your ship. We'd set up right near the main drill. Taking out the spacer leader should get the message across to the rest of them
어찌
to
보면은
buzz
플레이하기
off.
가장 편한 게
Once
여기
you
아닌가?
manage that, phone up here on the comms panel, and I can walk you through finishing the research.
이것도 있기도 하네. 심층광산의 스페이스 두목 처치하기. 이거 그냥 심플하게 연구를 방해하는 그 불황당들 잡고 연구를 도와서 빛을 청산하는 방법이잖아요. 막말로 이거 연구를 막상 끝냈는데 제가 연구 결과만 갖고 째면 어떻게 할 거야? 그치? 아직까지도 근데 선택사항이에요 이게. 두목을 처치하자. 그래서 가봅시다. 왠지 여기서 무기 같은 게 좀 나올 것 같아서 여기 조금 제 마음을 좀 움직이네요.
There you are.
요건 됐고.
Got nothing.
데미지 표시는 안 되긴 하는데 데미지는 들어가는 것 같지 이거? 잡았고.
Come on.
보니까 이게 에임이 살짝 이렇게 흔들리는구나. 1인칭으로 하니까 여기 있네요. 여기서는 안 흔들리는데 1인칭이 빡세네 오히려. 쓰러졌다. 얘가 보스야? 오케이. 너무 이게 리로드 하고.
Let's do this.
생각보다 수류탄이 잘 안되네. 시간의 굽을 갑니다. 굿! 큰일났네. 시간을 썼는데 별로 안 달았어.
You're done. Come on. Bring it on.
은근 제가 도움을 많이 주네. 비싸네 생각보다. 퍼시벌 워커 빚갚기. 이제 뭐 어떻게 되는 거야? 통신 패널로 케임브리지에게 연락하기. 이거야?
Hello? Oh, took care of the spacers, huh? Good. Now to finish off the research, you're gonna need to collect
분쇄 분리기에서 통과시킬 적철석 샘플을 수집해야 돼.
Grab a laser cutter and head back to the chamber where you came in. Once you've got
아까 좀 캐오길 잘했네요.
big machine in the next room. Passcode to start it is
암호는 2300,
2330.
2330,
And we'll have Percival's name cleared in no time.
2330. 여기 약간 유니크 같은 거 하나 있으려나? 없네. 오. 지금 뭐가 됐든 좀 먹어두는 게 좋지? 뭐가 없어요? 오! 달인급! 이건 챙겨야 돼. 달인급 간만이다. 달인급은 못 참지. 무난무난?
I see.
그렇지, 그렇지. 이거 좋네요, 기분이. 여태까지 이거 따가지고 전설급 먹은 적이 없었는데. 외계 생명체에 가하는 피해 30. 목표물을 사진을 맞춘 후 다음 공격 피해. 네 발찌마다 2개의 발사 동시에. 오, 아무튼
Done that
좋아.
before.
좋아요, 좋아. 이거 해놔야지. 간만에 쓸만한 거 먹었네. 샷건 좋아. 아, 총알이 없네 근데. 다 먹자. 무겁지만 않으면 그냥. 샘플 투 있고. 기다리기. 분석자료 가져오기. 이거 갖다 주면 되는 거겠지 이제? 기술자 효과 탐험 분석. 디지픽도 많이 준다. 오, 이거. 오. 다시 연락하기. 여기 괜찮네요. 여기 오기 잘했다. 여기가 전투 있을 것 같아서 보상이 쏘쏘할 것 같아서 와본 건데 진짜 알차게 먹고 가네. 만족.
All set? Good. You can take the elevator in that room back to the
엘리베이터
surface.
타면 됨.
There should be a key stashed in the thresher room. If the spacers didn't make off with it,
열쇠.
I'll be waiting at the circle.
데이터 전달하기. 근데 이거 엘리베이터가 있다고 했는데 이거 바로 얻어 걸렸네.
You've got the slate. Let me see. Reduced joint wear? Oh, increased lifting capacity. A dose of this stuff could make a miner way more efficient. This formula's gotta be worth at least as much as whatever Percival owes.
광부의 내구력 향상 같은 건가?
So here's what you do. Tell Octai and the Trade Authority you found a business proposal that will make miners more
광부를 더
efficient,
효율적으로 만들 수
higher
있다.
yield, synergy, you know, all that business crap. And that you'll trade it to him for clearing Percival's debt. You good at doing pitches and stuff like that?
설득하는 이벤트네요.
Oh, this is gonna be great. Oh, and here, a copy of the formula for yourself,
제조법 4본.
in case you ever want to try maximizing your own industrial output. Oh, use that if you can. Good luck.
데이터를 이용해서 빛을 갚아라. 이거 하기 전에 그거 먹고 가야겠네요. 설득 물약. 이 설득 물약이 되게 애매한 게 설득이 언제 일어날지 모르는데 먹고 들어가야 되니까 저게 좀 애매했는데 지금은 확실하지. 설득약이 있을 거야. 이런 거. 자, 세이브 한번 하고. 그쵸. 먹고 이럴 때 써먹으라고 원래 있는 건데 평소에는 이게 진짜 언제 설득 이벤트가 나올지 모르니 써본 적이 거의 없었거든. 가자.
Was there something else?
당신께 제안할 사업 계획이 있다.
I'm never one to turn away an opportunity, but I'd be curious what you think you've uncovered in the Martian market that others have missed.
수익성 적철석으로 만든 약물 핑미업. 핑미업?
Aqueous hematite, iron and wastewater. Well,
철과 폐수야
surprised no
저게.
one has proposed something like this before.
And exactly what does this new drug of yours do?
이제 설득이 그 이벤트 설득이 아니고 그냥 이렇게 하는 거네요. 괜히 먹었네. 광부들을 더 효율적으로 만들죠. 증명할 자료는 여기 있습니다.
An interesting proposal, if your data pans out. But where's this hematite coming from? The active mines would be too expensive to retool. The deep mines could be an option, but they're full of
그 스페이스 내가
spacers.
잡았잖아.
Or so I've heard.
제가 이미 녀석들을 쓸어버렸습니다. 제가 이미 그 광산을 치워뒀다면 어떨까요?
Really? Well now, that is intriguing. A completely untapped resource pool, and the sort of utility every mining firm in Sidonia would be clamoring to get their hands on. We could contract out all the actual lab work, bring on one of the hungrier mining concerns for materials, the licensing fees.
하청이 하청을 놓는다는 거구나 이 녀석.
And think what it would do for our image with the
이게 사실 크기가 좀 있는 기업이니까 가능한 거죠.
reopened
되게 부러운
thanks
건데.
to the Martian Trade Authority. Very interesting indeed. And what do you want for the rights to this drug?
퍼시벌의 빛을 탕감해 주세요.
Dr. Walker's dead? That's it? Consider it
뭐야
wiped.
얼마 안 되나 본데?
Well, it seems we have a deal then. And here, a
보상금?
finder's fee from the authority. A perfectly reasonable amount
되게 통
for
크게
a
나오네요.
discovery with this sort of potential.
빛 탕감의
Wouldn't
추가금이네.
want you feeling shortchanged down the road. We'll just be taking that slate before you have any second thoughts. It was a pleasure doing business with you, Captain.
루와 대화하기.
Go to Mars, they said. The bay is great, they said. So's the great.
이제 그 박사님 나오는 건가? 얼굴이 한 번도 안 나왔어.
Yeah?
빈 문제를 해결했습니다.
Did you now? Fine work. My end of the bargain then, I suppose.
내가
It's
바로
holed
아니야?
up in the old Red Devil's HQ.
레드
Place was
데블스에
sealed
숨어
up
있다.
tight after the UC shut it
붉은
out.
악마네.
But we snuck him in the back entrance through the deep mines. Was also going to warn you about spacers down there.
어차피 가야 되나 보구나 이거 스페이서 얘기하는 거 보니까.
Yeah. The passkey.
내가 만일 뭐 해킹으로
I'll
이렇게
let him know
해결했다고
there's
해도 거기로
someone he
특히
owes
지나가야
one
되나
hell of a
본데.
thank you on their way down.
보관실 출입 열쇠가 추가돼. 어딘 거야 위치가?
Constructing that massive structure in this cavern must have been quite a feat.
무슨
I suppose it's a
연구소인가
bit like
여긴?
building a ship in a bottle.
지하에 되게 웅장한 데가 있네요. 건물은 겁나 큰데 들어가진 않네. 얘가 박사야?
So you must be the one who got me out of the red with the trade authority.
마중 나와 있는
Can't say I
건가?
don't appreciate it, but I doubt you came all this way just to do me a favor.
부탁할 게 있으니까.
Now you want to explain to me why you're going around harassing the various old men by wiping away their hard-earned
인류를
debts.
위해서지. 조직 샘플을 분석해야 하는데 옛 동료인 헤이드리안의 산원 부탁으로 전달할 게 있어 왔다.
Adrian sent you. She's... Did she look okay?
살아있긴 한데 다쳤다.
Sounds like Adrian. Watch that woman lose a digit trying to get a better tissue sample. What? You can reattach a finger, Percy? So what exactly did she have you bring me?
테러모프가 있을 만큼 오래되지 않은 행성에서 나온 테러모프의 세포.
Adrian said that, huh? If she made you come all the way for this. Let's get inside. I need to see these cells.
나도 궁금해 이거. 열려있나? 레드데블스 본부. 우리나라 사람에겐 되게 익숙한 용어네요. 레드데블스. 왜 난 안 들어보내죠? 열기가 안 되는데. 네오시티 활동가 의상. 헬멧 전시대. 여기야.
Gonna ask you to not touch anything. Got some projects in the works down here. I wasn't expecting guests. Oh, and Lou mentioned how you took care of the dead. Can't say I'm thrilled the trade authority got their mitts on the research, but I guess that's the price you pay not to.
별로 좋아하진 않네. 역시 해킹으로 하는 게 나았으려나?
All queued up. Let's gaze into this abyss, shall we?
All right. Just get those cellular markers tagged.
Wait. Where are the markers?
응?
This can't be right. This sample, it's Londinian.
론디니언?
I'll need to get this all in a slate.
그 옛날에 테러모프 잔뜩 창궐했다던 거기잖아.
You're not lying to me?
거짓말을
Because
왜
if you
해?
told me this was a hoax and it'd be the best damn fake I've ever seen, I'd be mad and very, very relieved.
화는 나지만 안심이 될 거래. 이 샘플은 가짜가 아니야. 제가 잡았으니까.
Can't just humor an old man, huh? This sample, it's got all the indicators of the worst terramorph attack in human history.
그 론디니언 행성에
I
나왔던
presume you've heard
테러모프.
of Londinian.
기억이 안 난다. 헤드라인이 언급했다. 꽤나 비극적이었던
It
일.
was. An entire city wiped off the map. The swarms were so bad, they had to blow the spaceport and seal the place off from the galaxy at large. Not a lot of samples made it off the world from the time of the attack, but the ones that did.
테러모프 그 걔네들도 약간 나오는 위치에 따라서 좀 샘플이 다른가, 그 조직이 다른가 보다. DNA가.
I don't think it was transported to Tal Ceti. This specimen, it grew there, faster than any terramorph should. Which means, if we're about to start a new era in human terramorph relations, where big, sudden Londinian-style attacks can happen outside Londinian, that's not gonna end well for humanity.
인류가 멸망하겠지.
End of us as a species.
So you lugged this bad omen all the way here. You want to tell me what your plans are for it now?
데빌라도 막을 준비를 해야지. 이러면 받은 명령은 당신과 그 분석 결과를 헤이드리안이 볼 수 있게 하는 거다. 제 6지옥에서 기다리고 있을 거예요. 론디니온 창골은 규모가 엄청났다고 했잖아요. 고작 이상한 테러모프 한 마리 왜 그렇게 무서워하냐?
Because until now, the terramorphs that wiped out Londinian had the good sense to stay put. What happened there? It was a tragedy. But at
봉쇄는
least it was
가능했다.
contained. So to find evidence for a similar attack on a different world, well, we don't have enough information to know precisely what this means. But I doubt it's good. So I'd love to know what it is you're planning from here. The circle, huh?
그 2층 술집이죠.
Drink about now. Here, faster we take the lift to the surface. Not supposed to use it, but given the circumstances, I'm inclined to just ask forgiveness. Let's get going.
레드 데블스 본부 열쇠 추가됨. 위로 올라가자. 워커 박사가 동행하지 않습니다. 여기 있다.
Adrian.
Percival. My God, look at you. You're an old man now.
부녀지간 같다 뭔가. 눈
You don't
색깔도
hassling
똑같고.
yourself anymore, Major. Our friend here showed me your sample. Suffice it to say,
Not here. Let's talk somewhere more private. Lou said we could use the back.
안쪽으로 들어가자. 창고 같은데 여기. 그쵸?
Lou gave me the abridged version of what went down. I can't thank you enough for taking care of all that.
Makes two of us.
I hope it ultimately didn't end up being too much trouble.
평소에 배송 일을 할 때보다 총격전을 더 벌였지만
That's certainly not what I was expecting you'd have to go through. But thank you. I'm
눈이
just glad you
무서워.
both came
저번에
through
봤을 때도
intact.
느낀 건데.
So, were you two able to get that workup together?
Got it right here. That sample? It's an exact match for the ones from Londinian.
Londinian. That's
화면이 시점이
exactly
되게
what I
이상하게
was afraid
잡힌다.
of.
Not thrilled to be the bearer of that kind of news. That's for damn sure. So tell me you've got some kind of plan for that workup.
Well, right now, we've got more questions than answers. So I've been trying to figure out what it's going to take to access
옛날
our old
테러모프
Terramorph
자료가
data.
필요하다고?
Good place to start. What'd you find?
It's in the archives.
The Armistice Archives? Doesn't that mean we'd be dealing with the cabinet? And the Freestar Collective? And House Varun somehow? Guess we can kiss that approach goodbye.
I didn't think the cabinet would be willing to hear us out either. But I called in some favors. They've agreed to hear us out on two conditions.
두 가지 조건을 지키면.
One, they want to see this analysis you two have procured. And two, they want to discuss what happened on Tau Ceti. With both of us.
결국엔 다 같이 가야 되는 거 아니야? 내각 강요들의 환심을 사야 한다면 제가 바로 당신을 찾는 사람이겠다. 휴전기록 보관소가 뭐죠? 근데 이걸 열람 하는 게 큰 일인가? 그냥 휴전했을 때 기록 뭐 그런 거 보는 거잖아. 뭐 사실 뭐 역사적으로 보는 게 역사책에도 원래 쓰여질 정보들 아닌가요? 이렇게 이러이러해서 휴전했고 뭐 그런 내용일 것 같은데.
Of course. You deserve the full story.
내막을 알 자격 있다.
Percival and I, we're not just researchers. We were military scientists. Ran a division of the UC together that deployed aliens on the
외계
battlefield
생물 병기를
as
연구하는
weapons.
부서였어.
Place I was hiding out. That was our unit's home
우리 부대
base.
본부였다.
After some early fits and starts at other facilities, the place eventually became the heart of UC xeno-warfare. A practice that's been banned ever since the armistice went into effect almost 20 years ago. And the UC military cut us loose for what we'd done.
다행히 처형은 안 했네요. 사실 당신이 누군지 알고 있어요. 여전히 테러모프 자료가 왜 기록 보관소에 있는지 설명이 안 된다. 혹시 그 로니온이었나 아까 거기에 나왔던 테러모프 창궐 사건이 혹시 얘네가 연구했던 그 부작용 뭐 그런 것 때문에 그런가? 거기에 창궐한 이유가? 그래서 이거를 비밀리에 다 정부가 정보를 막아놓은 거면은 납득이 가.
Well, it was during that assignment that the UC asked us to explore deploying
테러모프를 배치할 수
terramorphs
있도록
on the
연구해보라고 했다.
battlefield. The project never got off the ground.
결실은
But the
맺지
data our
못했다고
team
하네요.
gathered is now sitting in the archives, along with all the other information banned after the Colony War. Under the watchful eye of monitors from all the galactic factions still participating in regular politics. But if we can convince the cabinet to help us access that data, it'll give us the tools we need to decipher what exactly.
일종의 옛날 전쟁 기술의 핵심 자료다 보니까 쉽게 못 본다는
more
거네요.
attacks like the one that spawned it.
내각 강요들과 이야기하러 갑시다.
All right. I'm gonna go get this work up into the cabinet's hands. I'll meet you out front of Mast in
출발점으로
New
돌아가네요.
Atlantis.
Good luck. You two are gonna need it.
돈 많이 주네.
Stay away from the sixth circle unless you're a minor. Hardly. Don't go close to that door.
Captain,
저기 있다.
over here. The workup's in the cabinet's hands. They said they'll call for us once they've gotten to properly review it. But listen, I know I should have been more forthcoming about who I was earlier. So, in the interest of full
알아야 게
disclosure,
하나 더 있다고? 뭐 있는데?
There's one more thing you ought to know before we head up
더
there.
대단한 사람이야 얘?
My relationship with the UC. It's more complicated than it might seem at first glance. The UC's actually the only reason I'm here in the first place. I
복제 인간이야? 뭐야 이거?
of a man named
프랑스와 사놓은 걔인데 그거 그 전쟁에서 전쟁 그 역적이라고 이제 약간 중요한 인물들 3명 그때
They called him Ve Victus. Woe to the
패배자에게 재앙이
defeated in
있으리라는
Old Earth
뜻이다.
Latin. A title he earned. The program I was a part of, it was the UC's attempt to create a new generation of military minds from one of their most respected tacticians. Secure the leadership of the UC military for generations to come.
오, 이거 되게 충격적인 얘기네요. 나는 걔네들이 다시 나올 수도 있다고 생각은 했었는데 이런 식으로 나올지는 몰랐네요. 그리고 좀 얘가 혹시 걔 중에 한 명 아닐까라는 좀 생각도 하긴 했었는데 이렇게 될 줄은 몰랐네요. 내각에 우리가 보고할 내용과 이게 무슨 상관인지 궁금하다. 식민지연합이 복제하고 싶어 했을 정도면 베이빅티스는 인상적인 사령관이었나 보군요. 남성을 복제한 거라고? 잠깐, 얘는 여자잖아. 뭐야 이거?
A non-trivial amount of gene
아,
editing.
유전자 편집을 했다.
Honestly, isn't even really the right term for our relationship. Thanks to the amount of donor material that was required to bring me into this world. He and I
뉴타입
are
같은 거네.
different on
다른
more than
의미로
a
좀
few
보면은.
levels. But there's no denying the fact we're inextricably linked.
되게 묘하네.
He would have happily told you he was one of the greats. Ultimately, though, it didn't matter.
그
The man I
벵가드
was
역사에
cloned
나왔던
from,
그 3명 중에 한 명인 거잖아.
father, was executed for acts he committed during the war. The man caused a lot of death on both sides. Freestar Collective and UC.
전쟁 영웅이지 다르게
Military
얘기하면.
and civilians.
민간인들야.
And the things he did, well, they're a part of the reason the UC and Freestar Collective aren't really on great terms to this day. So my involvement, it could be another obstacle they throw at us up there. I just wanted you to be forewarned.
당신은 당신의 아버지가 아니에요. 뭐 이건 뭐.
I really appreciate you saying that.
당신이 알아야만
I
할 것
just
같았다.
thought you
그치?
deserved to
알아는
know,
둬야.
considering how much you've done already. You know, while we've got a second, was there anything else we needed to discuss? I know you got dropped into the middle of this pretty
궁금한 게
fast.
있냐고.
Or if you've got any last-minute business to attend
뭔가
to,
되게 중요한
now
건가
might be a good
본데.
time. No telling how long the cabinet's gonna keep us waiting out here.
질문은 없다. 이 자료에 접근하면 어떤 위험이 있나? 내각에서 뭐라고 해야 할지 제안 좀 해줘라. 당신의 눈이 붉은데, 아, 저 눈 내가 무섭다고 했던 거. 그러면 얘 말고 걔도 복제 인간이라는 거야. 아까 그 아저씨, 그 퍼시펄 박사, 그리고 그 뭐야, 술집에 있던 그 바텐더 아저씨도 그렇고. 내가 저 눈이 너무 특이해서 되게 좀 기억에 남거든.
That's actually a souvenir from my time on Mars.
화성에 있을 때 얻은
The Red
기념선물.
Devils unit I was a part of. They were founded by recruits who'd worked some of Mars' deepest mines. Folks used to adversity. The dust at those depths, it seeps into everything. The human eye included. Where the name Red Devils came
아,
from in the first
화성에서
place.
오래 지내서 눈이
It
저렇게
became
되는
an
거야.
unwritten rite of passage that anyone wanting to enlist with the Devils
아.
had to do a stint in the mine
광산에
before they
일하다 보니
could
눈이
join up.
저렇게 되는 거야?
The Devils were always talked about in such revered tones during my training, so as soon as I was old enough, I signed up. And the eyes were my parting gift.
허허. 이 자료에 접근하면 어떤 위험?
Eye strain from the amount of reading I've got on the horizon if we succeed. The Terramorph project never went anywhere. It couldn't. They're deadly creatures, but they aren't xenoweapons. The cabinet not opening the archives is probably a bigger risk than them handing over the files. That data itself isn't dangerous, which probably wouldn't be a bad point for us to bring up, should the opportunity arise.
갑시다 이제.
Then I guess it's just a
국무회의실로 이동하기.
Sounds like our cue. Here we go. Ah, Captain. Congratulations on joining the ranks of the Vanguard.
국무회의실로. 오.
Ah, welcome. You must be the captain Hadrian mentioned in her report. You have our thanks for the risks you faced
고마우면
in
돈으로 해줘.
securing this information.
보상은 돈으로 해줘. 명령에 따를 뿐.
Well, I'll be sure your commanding officer hears that you've done them satisfactorily. Now then, we have two petitioners here making a surprising request. Access to the UC Xeno Warfare Team's Terramorph data, currently housed in the Armistice archives. A request which will require not just this body's agreement, but that of all three Armistice signatories.
저 휴전협정에 참여한 쟤네들의 다 동의가 필요하다는 거죠. 그만큼 중요한 사항이라.
We've all read Hadrian's report on the subject, but we have yet to hear
지금으로
from
따지면
you.
일종의 핵 관련 뭐 그런 건가
Perhaps you
보지.
could summarize
그 정도
for the
급의
cabinet
파급력.
what it is you see as the goal of this endeavor.
우리는 아직 무엇을 마주하고 있는 건지 알아내려고 노력하는 중입니다. 자료 없이는 정보에 입각한 결정을 낼 수가 없죠. 테라모프가 야기할 종말을 막을 방법을 찾으려면 기록 보관소의 자료가 필요하다.
That's quite the leap, Captain.
야심.
Madam President, I object to the very premise of this meeting. While no one would argue that what happened on Tau Ceti was anything less than a tragedy, terramorph attacks are not some sudden new threat on the horizon. They've been happening for generations. To demand we hand over banned archival knowledge and possibly upset the balance of galactic diplomacy because of a single attack.
이게 소일거 외양간 고치는 느낌인데 얘는.
And at worst, a power grab by the daughter of a bloodthirsty warmonger and her associates.
I would remind the chief diplomat who he's speaking to. If it's my father you're looking to address, you're welcome to consult a medium. I would also ask how many deaths the cabinet requires to act. 50? 50,000? Because if tragedies like Tau Ceti are just prelude to more attacks, I have no doubt you'll get the body count you require.
이게 늦어질수록
Let's keep
피해가 더
this civil,
늘어난다는
shall we?
거잖아.
And while there should be no doubt the preservation of life stands paramount among this body's duties, Chief Yassine has a point. Will a single attack, however troubling, be sufficient to convince the other factions to grant us access to what they no doubt consider weapon data? I don't think it's enough. Perhaps you can help, Captain. As the one who actually collected the sample in question, did this terramorph seem at all alarming to you?
내가 얘기해줘야 돼. 정착지는 공격에 대비하지 못했고 테러모프에 전멸당했다. 그 조직 샘플이 론디니오 샘플과 일치하다고 했다. 그래, 요걸 말해줘야지.
Just taking her word for it as well, then.
So it would seem. So then, Captain, given the discussion now and the information you've been privy to thus far, if you were in our position,
내가
would you
만일
grant the request
얘네라면은
to open the archives?
고래의 자리 타우에서 일어난 일이 다른 곳에 일어날 가능성이 있다면 우리는 그 요청을 승인해야 된다. 자료가 무기화되는 게 우려되는 거라면 테라모프 프로그램은 실패했습니다. 자료 자체는 위험하지 않아요. 그치?
It doesn't matter if it can be
싫어한대.
weaponized or not. The archives need to remain sealed for now. There's no reason to rush into a decision of this
얘
magnitude.
목소리가 왜 이렇게 기계음처럼 나오냐?
I hadn't thought of that, Captain.
An excellent point indeed. The other powers would likely be much more inclined to work with us knowing that.
그래, 애초에 실패한 연구 자료를 보여달라고 하는 건데
That point?
다 좋아하는데 제 사람만 좀 그러네요.
Very well, you have my agreement. The galaxy is lucky you were here today, Captain.
You and I are in agreement, Chief Diplomat. So, if there are no other objections, I believe we can agree to give our full backing to make the request to...
테러모프인가 보다.
What was that?
내가 강요 이야기. 테러모프인가?
Incident. Chief Sarkin, what's happening?
테러모프?
There's been an attack. At the
이거 봐,
space-
이봐.
Terramorphs.
Terramorphs. More attacks. Just as predicted.
Good God.
Damn it. They're here. Now.
There must be another explanation. The creatures
저
evaded our
야신이라는
scanner
놈.
somehow.
There will be plenty of time for conjecture later.
이 야신, 이
Chief
자식 이제
Sarkin, order the evacuation
아짜
of the
쉽지?
spaceport and have your men contain the things, but do it discreetly. The last thing we need is a citywide panic.
Yes, ma'am.
Admiral Logan, the local barracks can provide support.
I'll make the order myself. Nearest anti-Xeno squad, though, is off-world. Going to take a while to bring them in.
얘가 잡아야겠네 이거.
We'll have to make do with the tools we've got. You two, we can't risk those things getting out of the spaceport. I want you both on the next train there. We'll let them know you're coming and that you've dealt with these things before. Now go show them how it's done.
We're on it, ma'am. Captain, I'm right behind you. Let's get down there.
헤이디디안이 같이 행동함. 사라는 같이 안 가네. 전철 타고 우장으로 이동하기. 아, 지하철이랑 연결된 건물이구나. 아, 좋네. 왜 이래 이거 얘네. 전자기 무기 잡기? 이거?
That's it. Now hit him with every.
전자기 무기? 이거?
Thing you've got.
장착하게 했는데. 이거 아니야? 장착 완료. 기절하게 되는 건가 이게? 전철역 상황 확인하기. 이 무슨 경우야?
Thank you for what you did. We didn't want to hurt them.
The way those people were acting. I've seen this before.
테러모프의 영향을 받고
They
있다.
were under the Terramorph's influence, weren't they?
I don't know. They were down at the port and they just started screaming.
이게 마인드 컨트롤 능력도
We
있나
tried to
보구나.
restrain them, get them on the train to get them out of harm's way, but some of the other officers down there, we couldn't restrain them fast enough. They just started firing on us. People we knew.
경관들이 미쳐 날뛰었다.
They went berserk.
Pheromonic projection.
페로몬 방출.
Some Terramorphs, they can induce this fog. It affects everyone differently, but some people just lose control, turn against everyone around them, even if they don't want to. They're like a puppet. You kill the morph, you break the hold. But this means we're gonna need to be real careful with our fire.
전자기 무기를
EM
준비해
weapon
둬야
at the
된다.
ready.
서둘러야 되겠다.
Let's do it.
That's unlocked. Please.
걸어가야 돼?
Do what you can.
전철 가능? 전자기 무기가 무조건 있어야 된다고? 이거 전자기 아닌가? 물리야? 이거밖에 없네 전자기가. 하나 해놔야겠네요 이거. 총알이 다 있나 모르겠다 근데. 테러모프다. 테러모프 제거하기. 외계 생물체니까 얘 이거 딱 그거긴 한데. 시간 회고. 확실하게 조질 거면 이건. 오케이 느리게 하고. 혹시 모르니 하나 먹자 우선. 총알이 없는 게 조금 그런데. 이게 그 페로몬 그건가 보다. 쓰러진다 이거. 혹시 기뢰 같은 거 있었나 나? 스루탄 요거. 알겠나? 오케이. 수류탄. 늘어져라. 오케이. 딜 거의 안 박혀. 이거라도. 좋아. 아, 저기 다치면 무력화되는 건가 혹시? 그런 것 같은데. 없다. 이게 생각보다 내가 지금 무기가 많이 없어. 큰일났네. 이게 딜이 안 박히는 것 같은데.
It's not working. It's
누군가
never going to
대화하기.
work.
Spots. We've got the remaining creatures locked down on the landing pad. Barely
한 마리가 아닐 거야 아마. 그치?
They said you've done this before. Well, one fire team to spare.
화력팀 한
whatever supplies you
분대뿐.
need, but I can't risk them taking over any more of my men.
장비나 좀 줘.
Do
그래.
it fast. We'll hold them as best we can.
선택 화력팀 분대장과 대화하기. 테러모프 전부 제거야. 아, 이 총알이 없다. 이게 좋은 건데 나한테. 근접 무기라도 좀 나왔으면 좋을 것 같은데. 보급 없나 더? 총알이 없어요. 이것도 총알이 없고. 얘도 총알이 없고. 총알이 없고. 그나마 이거랑 아까 먹은 게 이거. 드럼 비트. 뭐든 지금 무기 써야 되니까. 얘인가?
Heard you might be looking for some backup. You say the word, we're out there on your 6.
You two have any experience with terramorphs before?
Only the brief they just gave on the way here. But we know how to handle pressure.
정신적 압박에 익숙하다.
Surviving a full-on mental assault isn't the same as keeping your cool in a firefight. Might make you more liability than asset.
We're not UC security. You don't need to worry about us.
오케이, 내 뒤에서 어모해.
Roger that. We're on you. I hate false alarms. Gotta stay sharp.
데리고 안 가는 게 좋을 수도 있나? 있으면 나름 도움 될 것 같은데. 무기는 이것도 있긴 하네. 아, 근데 이거 총알이 많이 없구나. 테러모프 제거하기. 저기 있네요. 생각보다 되게 잘 나오는데 이거. 좋아. 레벨이 낮아서 그런가? 그래, 어모해 계속 얘들아. 신명타 뜨는 조건이 뭐지? 탄환이 없다. 아 이거 잘 썼다 그래도. 한 마리는 이렇게 컷할 것 같고 시야가 안 보인다. 오케이. 레벨업. 무기 관련 뭐 할까? 권투 말고 총 실탄 무기 피해 증가. 이건 뭐니? 탄탄총 권총 피해 증가. 실탄 무기 피해 증가. 웬 아미노산? 저 우주선이잖아. 우리 애들 어디 있는 거야? 저 컨테이너 뒤에 있는 건가? 느낌이? 그치? 자고 있나? 이럴 때는 원래 수면참 느낌으로 좀 세게 갈기는 게 좋을 것 같은데 뭐가 없어. 이 컨테이너 안에서 자고 있나? 우리 애들 저기 있고. 왜 로니? 이거 이걸 나름 노린 거였는데 근처에 더 터트릴 만한 거 있나? 여기서 시간 회복 쓰고 빨리 바꿔. 요거 괜찮네. 잡은 거야? 이거 얘 금방 잡았다 얘는. 애들이 약간 낑겨서 그런가 별 피해가 없었어. 아무튼 완료. 총알이 없어서 걱정했는데 다행이네.
Guess they weren't kidding about you two. The universe put the right people in the right place.
영웅은 우리가 아니라 여러분이에요. 하루 일과일 뿐입니다.
Like hell it is. I don't want to think what would have happened if you two hadn't been here.
Just glad we could rise to the occasion. Captain, we should report back to the President. Let her know the Terramorphs have been dealt with. Take care of yourself, Sergeant.
청사 국무회의실에 있는 아벨로 대통령에게 보고하기. 이 정도면 솔직히 보상 크게 때려줄 것 같은데 훈장 정도는 줘야 되는 거 아니야 원래? 어? 겸사겸사 이제 시민권도 주고. 나 아니었으면 여기 망했잖아. 그 정도는 해줄 만한데. 드라마 앞에.
Whole building's on lockdown.
That's a relief to hear. Thank you, gentlemen. Let your people all know how much we owe them today.
왜 네가 그 자리에 있냐?
There you are.
I make it my responsibility
I believe
to call their family.
we have some things we should discuss.
I've got a lot of calls to make.
Captain, Hadrian, it would appear that the cabinet owes you our thanks for what you did for the city today.
사과의 말씀.
As well as an apology. Your concerns about the terramorphs, we'll consider them validated.
사건이 터져야 이게
Thank
참.
you, ma'am.
동의합니다. 감사합니다. 안 하는 것보다는 늦는 게 낫겠죠. 감사의 마음을 크레딧, 부동산, 사치품으로 표현해 주시죠.
I had some ideas on that front, Captain, but we'll get to
나중에
that.
준다고 합니다.
Now, today's events have only clarified our path forward in the eyes of the cabinet. You will have our full support in collecting the terramorph data from the archives, as well as a subsequent investigation into the nature of these
전폭적인
attacks.
지원.
But to accomplish those goals, we're going to need the right people in the right places. As such, the cabinet has authorized me to reinstate you,
헤이드리안의
Hadrian,
복직이야?
effective immediately, to your former rank
와,
of
소령.
major. As soon as we've got the data in hand, we want you investigating these attacks and how to stop them. Will you do this?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. I'd be honored.
Excellent. But as you've both made clear, for such an investigation to succeed first, we're going to need someone
그래,
to convince the
쟤네한테
Free Star
가가지고
Collective
뭐
and
허가를
House
받아야
Rowan
되는
to
건가?
play ball. Someone who knows precisely the sorts of dangers the colonies and all the galaxy are facing
궁금하긴
right
해서
now.
사실 그 다른
The
연합
cabinet
좀
wants
걔네들도
you, Captain, to be
어차피
that
나중에 해볼
representative.
거지만.
We do. In exchange, we're willing to fast track your citizenship upon
시민권
collection
취득
of the
과정을
data.
서둘러 진행시켜
Get
드릴
you
용의가 있다.
access to those credits at real estate you're after. So, will you help us?
이렇게 시민권을 얻게 되는군요.
I'm glad to hear it. Now, we of course won't be sending you in without the proper support. Deputy McIntyre in the Office of Interstellar Affairs
출입 권한을 얻는
will be
방법을
your guide
안내해준다.
on gaining access to the archives. You should be able to find her in her office across the hall. And on behalf of the whole of the United Colonies, you have our thanks. You're dismissed.
오, 12,000원.
I'm gonna go check in with
We're
Chief
on the
Engineer
cutting edge of
Kulkarni.
technology here.
Start getting a plan together for
이런 친구들과 함께라는 맥킨타이어 외교관보와 대화하기.
These orders, a vanguard captain. You, yes, sir.
야신장관.
I'll make sure
아까
we get
반대했던 그 친구. 그 선장이 바로 접니다.
That must make you my vanguard captain. Welcome to Interstellar
야신장관의
Affairs.
보좌야.
I'm Deputy Chief Diplomat McIntyre, Chief Yassine's second in command. I heard
머리가
you
좀
were
가발 같네요, 얘는.
instrumental in protecting the city from the attack. You have my gratitude. I was also informed that you gave quite the presentation to the cabinet. Chief Yassine wants you to know the Interstellar Affairs Office is fully committed to this endeavor, accessing the terramorph data and beyond. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure you have the tools you need. And that means first getting you into the archives. You do know what the archives are, correct?
말 그대로 기록을 보관해 놓는 거겠지. 식민지 전쟁에서 금지한 자료를 모두 모아 보관하는 곳이죠.
Someone paid attention in current events. So, then you also know
원래
that it's
새 주요
originally
은하
managed
세력이
by the
관리하기로
three
했다는
major
것도 알고
galactic
계시겠죠.
players.
아까 나왔죠. 그래서
Access to the archives is
보려면은
only
다른
granted in
데에서
cases
허가가
of
떨어져야
dire
된다고.
emergency and requires a one-time use code from each of the three armistice signatories.
세력의 일회용
You
코드도
see,
필요해.
Free Star Collective and House
그러니까
Farouk.
OTP 코드가 각자
Now, the
가지고 있다는
UC is
거지.
already on board, so that means we'll need to convince two people, the ambassadors of the Free Star Collective and House Farouk, to hand over their codes. Get them both and you'll have your data. But
근데
that's a
바론
lot easier
쪽은
said than
다시
done.
떠났다고 알고 있는데 역사에서 휴전 협정하고 결국에 걔네 또 사라진 거 아닌가?
I couldn't agree more. However, both ambassadors have reasons they won't, or can't,
work with us.
협력할 수 없는
Now,
이유가 있다.
I'll provide guidance on how we believe you can acquire each code, but ultimately, it'll be up to you to get them both to cooperate.
And I do mean cooperate. Threats and violence are
위협이나
off the
폭력은
table
안 돼.
here. Though that doesn't mean we can't get creative.
But it does mean we need to get you up to speed on who you're dealing with. Who do you
미리
want to start
경고를
with?
하네요. 협박을 하지
Ambassador
말라고.
Radcliffe of Freestar or Ambassador Balmore of House Varun?
자유왕성 공동체부터 여기부터 가죠. 바룬 가문을 좀 마지막에 가고 싶어서.
The good Ambassador Radcliffe.
식민지 전쟁 참전 용사.
She's a veteran of the Colony War, and her only goal in life is to make ours
식민지
miserable.
연합을 되게 안 좋아하나 보네요.
Now, officially, our office is suggesting you try and negotiate with her.
Use your experiences as a member of the military and with the threat we're facing to convince her to lend her support.
And who knows? Maybe that'll work. Stranger things have happened. But my suspicion is we're going to have to rely on other tools
훔쳐야
to
되나?
get her code.
다른 수단을 말씀해 주세요.
Certainly. See, good diplomacy is all about the careful application of pressure.
압박할 곳을 찾아라. 레드클리프의 약점을 찾으라는 거네요.
UC Intelligence has a recording device planted in the ambassador's living quarters, which we suspect
정보국이
you can
도청
use to
장치를
your
설치했다.
advantage.
But getting caught trespassing is a quick way to land yourself in an embassy holding cell.
So, if you are going to try and access the device, you're going to need to find a way in there without being seen.
Now, we recovered some intel we believe should be able to help with that. But there's also a disgruntled staff member you might be able to pump for information.
방법은
Maybe
되게
even
많나 보네.
convince to work with you.
레드클리프 대사에 대한 정보. 그 직원에 대해 알려줄
Name's
내용.
Cameron Long.
캐머런 롱.
He's younger than Radcliffe, bears less of a grudge towards the UC.
캐머런 롱이라는 애를
He
찾아야
works
된다.
closely with the ambassador, making him a promising source for information on the ins and outs of embassy life.
아이고. 이 정도면
Alright.
충분.
Here, your diplomatic ID. I'll give them a heads up, you're on your way.
And take these. Chief Yassine wanted you to have some options on how to proceed in there.
크레딧 또 줘. 팍팍 밀어주네요. 뭐야 이건? 대화하기. 아직 끝난 거 아니었어?
Captain.
이것도 봐야 되나?
Ambassador Balmore's a challenge.
When the rest of House Varun retreated into seclusion shortly after the signing of the
발머
armistice,
대사만 여기 남았다.
Balmore
그래, 걔네
stayed here.
철수했다고 알고 있거든.
He's since lent his support to a small number of archival requests. So there's real hope he might
예전에도
again.
이런 적이 있었어.
But
요청을 했던
claiming to
적이.
know how a member of House Varun thinks is a quick way to earn yourself a psych eval.
대사라도 설득할 수 있을 거예요. 바룬 가문도 사람이다, 사람.
It does, but there's a concern. We're not 100% sure Balmore's actually still alive. His public appearances were always rare, but it's been
이거
several years
예전에
now
메인크
since he
할
last
때
poked
얘네
his
관련
head
좀
out.
내용을 내가 본 기억이 있거든.
Scans of the
거의 게임
facility
초반이어서
show life
가물가물한데
but
그
not the
후계자가
kind we
지금
were
거기 살고 있지
expecting.
않나? 약간 서부 느낌
Your
나는 그
task is to
행성에서.
find him and kindly but firmly remind him of his duties under the armistice.
발머 대사를 찾아내겠다.
I have no doubt. Now, the embassy front door isn't an option, but our spies have stated there's a side entrance that should allow you access. Here, this device should get you all the way down to the embassy interior. Once you're inside, though, finding the ambassador is going to be up to you. And fair warning, we received a report that alarms might have been tripped inside the embassy during the attacks.
자동 보안 시스템을
Watch out for
조심해라.
automated security in there.
Now, if you have additional questions or require clearance for a new approach we haven't already discussed, don't hesitate to ask. I'd suggest you start with Ambassador Radcliffe.
레드클리프부터 가라고 조언하네요.
Approach her while the attack is still fresh in her and her staff's mind. Be smart out there, Captain.
자유왕성 공동체 기록 코덕기. 요것만 늘 거라서. 됐어. 깔끔한데? 여기서 저장하고 2부로 넘어가도록 하죠. 준비는 끝났어. 갑시다.